What's going on, Cancer? And welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and I hope you're feeling amazing today. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, shares, donations. Your support really does mean a lot to me, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. You are in for an amazing journey. Now, the purpose of this channel, for those of you who have Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, wherever, Cancer, this one's for you. And I do tarot card spreads based off our ruler here, the good old Moon. I'm so happy that she's back over here. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, when she's going void, of course, just all of those lunar shenanigans. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. Never force a reading on a situation, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Gems. Just a bunch of new friends over here, Cancer. It's a party. So, the moon is in Aries right now. Awesome energy. And with the moon being in Aries, it's you'll be feeling kind of like more kind of spontaneous and kind of more direct, a little more forward than normal, you know. Might be feeling a little impatient because Aries energy just likes it's coming in hot, you know. It's the starter of the zodiac, and you know, you're just gonna be feeling that just that impulse to really kind of get stuff done there, Cancer. And the moon is still in a waxing crescent phase, which is about developing a clear foundation and just really refining our game plan here. So really, the energies are lining up really good for you, Cancer. So if you got a clear game plan in mind, let's go ahead and get that thing started here. And then lastly, in case y'all were curious, the deck that I'm using is the Wandering Moon Tarot deck, and I've included a link for this one and other decks that I like using down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested, Cancer. But let's go ahead and get into your first card, which is the general energy of the day. So, Higher Self, what's the general energy looking like for Cancer today? Let's see what's going on for you, Cancer. Wait. Okay. Interesting. I'm with it. You got the Seven of Wands in reverse. And with the Seven of Wands, you know, I feel like, you know, some of us are at this place of maybe where we're kind of, I don't want to say kind of like feeling fed up, but maybe we've been, our ideas have maybe been under a lot of scrutiny for a little while. You know, maybe it's something that, you know, you go to present this thing and you just like, you've been geeked up, you know, you've been planning this thing for however long, let's say like weeks, for example, and it's just like, yes, you know, this is about to sell, this is the one, like, go get it. And then you go to present this thing. It could even be like, let's say, for example, like a business idea. You go to it and they kind of look it over, you get all geeked up, ready for them to lose it, and then they're just like, what is this? You know, is this really your idea? What's going on here, Cancer? And you're just like, and then like you're just like your balloon has been deflated. And, you know, I feel like we're getting in this place of maybe it's, I don't know, Cancer, like maybe it's like where I understand, like, you know, wanting to kind of like seek the approval. How do I want to put this, Cancer? You know, I feel like sometimes, you know, when we're going to pursue something, you know, when we don't quite hit that mark, that we just automatically just give up after that. You know, it's like instead of like maybe going back to the drawing board, it's like, okay, maybe that didn't go well. Why didn't that? Was it because maybe it wasn't the right audience? You know, maybe we need to pitch it to a different person. You know, maybe, you know, you know, I feel like instead of doing that, you know, we just instantly just kind of like shelve this thing or even possibly just like give up on it. It's just like, okay, well, that just shows that like this wasn't a good idea. Like, well, I guess I'll just go back just kind of like inside this box here and just kind of stifling your creativity, Cancer. And I feel like with this energy kind of popping up, I feel like this is a time to really, if we've been feeling a little kind of like creatively restricted, you know, kind of like entertain that more, you know, instead of that like initial knee jerk, like just give up. If this is resonating with you, try approaching it from a different way. It's like, because here's the thing, I feel like if you have such like a visceral reaction to this thing, then that means that it meant something to you. So, and that's something that's worth kind of looking more into, you know. And I just feel like maybe it could be just like, again, like a refinement type of thing, you know. Because of course, you know, if this is kind of like your first draft here, and it's like, there's going to be 100 different things, you know, that could possibly be better about it. And it's kind of like how I tell you at the beginning too. It's like take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. Sometimes some like critiques are just like other people's opinions. If there's not gonna, in if if someone is just like bashing it down and not offering notes on what would think to improve it, I would take that person's opinion with a grain of salt. But if you take this to someone and they're like, okay, like I see where you're coming from. Had you considered maybe doing it from this angle, or I like this concept, maybe you can go bigger here. Someone who's like promoting this thing, that's like wants to see this thing grow. I feel like those are the kind of people, that we want to kind of surround ourselves with. So if it's been something where you've had something, your idea or your baby or whatever it is that's been met under a lot of criticism, just kind of check to see, who's evaluating this thing. Because Cancer, this is important to you at the end of the day, and this is your thing here, and no one can tell you how to do your thing but you. People can help enhance that thing, but you got to keep the follow through for that. Don't let little setbacks, deter something that could be actually really beautiful here. So let's get to your next couple cards, which is going to be kind of how we can work with the energy. So higher self, what are some ways that Cancer can work with this energy at this time? Let's see. Ooh. Yeah, okay, we're going to take that one, Cancer. Interesting. You got the Nine of Moons, Cancer, in reverse, and that's the Nine of Cups in reverse. And so I feel like one ways to work with this energy here is if we get to this place of where it's like affecting our happiness, I mean like this criticism and stuff like that, I feel like there's something to explore in that thing. Why is it that we feel like we can't accomplish this thing, or why we're so quick to give up on this thing? Because I feel like if this is something that you've wanted for a while, you'd think you do everything that you could to go out there and get it. And I don't feel like that's any fault of yours, Cancer. I feel like it's one of those things, like maybe it was just something that's just been kind of ingrained in you for a while. I've noticed that and even when you think just kind of jokingly, we can just be very quick to just kind of bring ourselves down. But then when we have to think of ways to kind of build ourselves up, or what honestly makes you happy, then there's like kind of like a little pause there. There's like, it takes a second to kind of list off, as opposed to like, oh, like tell me your weaknesses. Oh, I hate blah 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 about myself. And I feel like some ways that we can work with this energy is really just kind of shifting that dynamic there. Instead of focusing on the things that aren't making you happy here, that aren't getting you fulfilled, let's switch that around. And I know that can be easier kind of said than done, or even just like oh come on Justin, that can't be, but give it a try. It's like, look at where you're at now, and if that hasn't been helping you out so far, then let's give it a shift, Cancer, because you know how it is. And again, I don't think that this is like something that you're meaning to do. It's just like, maybe it's just like a habit that you're trying to kind of kick. Like even like Cancer, I really feel like just give it a try. It's a challenge. I wouldn't tell you what to do here. This is a safe space, but just play around with that. I think that there's something that can really grow from there, Cancer. But let's get some other cards on this thing. Let's see what are some other ways that Cancer can work with this energy, higher self. Let's see what's going on there. Boy, hopefully not a stack there, Cancer. Well, I guess for the energies to work with. Never mind. We're getting it together, Cancer. Okay, hold on here. Yeah. Okay, interesting. You got the Three of Moons in reverse here. And so Cancer, again, I think it's coming down to, because the Three of Moons, I don't know if I just said it's the Three of Cups, and the Three of Moons is really kind of about family and those that you keep kind of close, like your soul tribe in a sense. And I do feel like it's time for just like a reevaluation, to maybe see if maybe that if the people that we have around us really are there to celebrate us, and are we celebrating them too? Is there that like that healthy relationship of growth happening there? And if not, Cancer, I maybe at first, maybe kind of like when you get a chance, kind of sit down with this person and kind of see what's going on here. It's just like, hey, I don't feel like we're vibing, or this is something that I've noticed, like this makes me feel like this way, or whatever the situation is. And if depending on how that goes, if the vibrations aren't quite matching up, then it's just it may be time to just reestablish some boundaries, And who knows, down the line, when we're at different places here, when we're kind of more vibing on the same place, or, at least getting in that same direction, the universe has a way of bringing us all back together here. Yeah, and I don't even, because I'm not getting like I feel like you need to like isolate yourself, but I feel like maybe we've given those who don't necessarily, and it could be unintentionally, it could be, maybe they're trying to keep you in a more kind of, I don't want to say like a practical space, and that what you're doing isn't practical, but like they're going for like maybe the safety route here. They don't want to see this thing like blow up in your face. So like, well, if I say such and such and such about this, can you imagine what the outside world will say about it? And they're not even your family or anything like that. That's just an example, Cancer. But just something to think about that, and I know that can be kind of hard when if we have to approach these type of subjects, but ultimately Cancer is going to be for your well-being, and then when you're feeling good, everything else around you is going to be good, including the people that you have in your surroundings, because that's the perks of just Cancerian energy, it's very nurturing, and we established this area of just I feel like where people just kind of feel like they're at home, you know what I mean? It's like a familial type of energy here, and so we want to be mindful of how people are acting up in the family. Sometimes mama's got to crack the whip, and and not in a crazy way, Cancer, but we got to stand firm sometimes, and got to protect your energy, So let's get to some the next couple cards, which is going to be some challenges. So, hi yourself. What are some challenges that Cancer might be facing when dealing with this energy here? Let's see what's going on there, Cancer. Yeah, because this is a pretty emotional reading here, Cancer. At least I'm getting a lot of feelings with this, with the cups having to deal with feelings. And even one of our cards here, the Three of Cups, that's, what is that? That's Mercury in Cancer. So just interesting here. Oh, very interesting. You got the Lovers in reverse here, Cancer. And so I feel like a challenge is, I feel like this is going to be a kind of a heart-heavy week here, at least, well, maybe not week, hopefully it's just for the day. Maybe we can get this knocked out here. But usually when we get into stuff like this, this might possibly extend for a little bit. But I feel like a challenge is really kind of making that decision, because that's one thing that the Lovers can be. It's like a choice between, what logically you should do, but then what your heart's kind of telling you to do, and like, making that choice of getting those two in line there, and just like, hey, this is. It is what it is, and we need to figure out what that means, And so I feel like if it's gotten you in this place where just things don't seem to line up here, that there's some kind of dissonance there, or that's just, I feel like it's something to pay attention to. I feel like those are kind of like signs to indicate like, have we considered this from every perspective here? Because I think about the Lovers, this is Gemini's card, and Gemini is about that duality, and because again, it's not like I feel like this is something where it's just like, even though we got a lot of reversals going on here, this is not like something I feel like it's like we're cutting people out here. It's just that I just feel like maybe something needs to be communicated. Even when I was thinking about Mercury and Cancer, Mercury in your chart placement has to deal with communication. And I feel like if we're not communicating our feelings, if things are in reverse here, then it's time to bring those stuff up into light. And it could potentially be a tough conversation. Deal with it when you feel ready. Again, you can't force this thing. And if the other person is not feeling receptive to that, then you know what? It's time to take a step back. Okay, we found a sore spot here. Let's reconvene in a little bit when we feel like it here. So yeah, just something to keep in mind, Cancer. Let's get another card on that. Higher self. What other challenges might Cancer face when dealing with this energy here? Let's see what else is going on there, Cancer. Oh, yeah. Okay. Interesting, Cancer. I swear I'm shuffling. You got the Star card in reverse here. And I feel like, these challenges may, I'm getting really, Cancer, just two now with when you're getting this major arcana, and both of these are air energy here. You got Gemini, and now we got Aquarius here. I feel like there's been a lot of something's been, I feel like, maybe on your mind for a little while. Maybe there's something that, like, maybe we've been feeling like we haven't been able to shine as bright as we could. I'm really getting a lot of that where we've kind of been neglecting ourselves, possibly, for some, if this is resonating with you, or, that there might be something kind of deeper that needs to be kind of brought up to light here, And again, when I say that, or saying that, I do feel like this is something that just, like, be mindful how you approach this thing here. If it doesn't feel right to talk about it, then, trust that instinct. But if you feel like you've that when you choose to, if you choose to bring this up, and we've established a safe space here, because that's really important when I feel like you're getting ready to talk about, feelings, and, really kind of like processing those things. Make sure that, like, all parties understand it's like, this is not like a battlefield here. We're not trying to come at each other, just trying to understand, like, what this is and why this thing is here, because there's something that's got us out of funk here, and, I feel like it would be worth it to fix that. That's maybe one way to approach this thing. But yeah, very interesting, Cancer. I do feel like that there is something that's trying to be brought to light here. So let's just something to think about, Cancer. I'm not sure. It's off because it's feeling a little somber today. But that's let's get to your last card here, which is going to be some advice. So, higher self. What's some advice for Cancer today? Let's see what's some last thoughts on this thing here. I like that. You got the full moon, Cancer, and let's switch back over here. Because with the full moon, who doesn't love a good full moon? But this is one of those. This deck comes with like 3 special cards: the new moon, the full moon, the new moon, the full moon, and the wanderer. And the full moon is about that. It's that celebration. It's that realizing that that light that I was talking about, that seems like something that wants to be brought up to the surface. I feel like that's what's coming here. I feel like there's a relief that's coming with this energy, because the moon is really a time of, like, celebration. And there's even one in the previous deck that I was using, the Witch Tarot deck, the 3 of Moons, the 3 of Cups. It's family celebrating underneath a full moon here, Cancer. So I feel like this is something that when the time feels right, let's address this thing, because this is something that if this is like, this someone that you maybe even consider like part of your soul tribe or something along those lines, we want to keep those relationships kind of close to us and connect with that kind of stuff here, even when we have maybe disagreements about directions or any things along those lines, But excuse me, there's potential here, there's light here, and celebration can come from this thing. Healing can come from this thing. The moon is Cancerian energy. This is healing energy here. So just something to keep in mind, Cancer. So I think I'll leave that there. A little heavy for a Thursday. Look at that. I take a break and look what happens. I see you missed me a little bit. I'm kidding, Cancer. I'm not making light of your situation here. This is some tough stuff here. And again, deal with that as you as it makes sense. So if you like that thing, give it a thumbs up. Share this if you know someone who may be going through this. Because again, it's tough. We kind of try to raise that vibration, Cancer. Subscribe, hit that bell button. You get notified when I release videos each week. I am getting better about being all up on Facebook. And lastly, if you've, I'm assuming you're here because you checked your sun, but check your sun sign, moon, your rising, and then go check out my other channel, Alchemist 8. I do weekly videos with different monthly themes for all the other signs, you included, Cancer. I just spoil you. And all that housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise card here so I can get you out of here. You got the Hanged Man here, Cancer. And so I feel like with this, there is a lot to think about. If this is something that's resonating with you, I feel like that if it's something that's been kind of on your mind for a while, that's kind of got you, been kind of like nagging you a little bit, maybe been kind of distracting you in your work or in, in life, and whatever, Cancer. Again, just when you find some time, I feel like, find a way to kind of like release some of that weight off your shoulders, so we can just kind of navigate through this journey just a little bit lighter, because there's a whole full moon of wisdom that can come from this thing, Cancer. It's just we just got to go through all the phases of this thing. We got to start, like consider like the lunar cycle. We got to start in the darkness first, and then as we go and go and go, it just gets a little bit brighter, a little bit brighter. The next thing you know, we're celebrating, and then we finish up. We go back, and then we just keep on growing there, Cancer. So that felt pretty good. I think I'm gonna leave that there, Cancer. So stay safe out there. You keep eyes on that moon, and I will catch you on the next one tomorrow.